All right, back to John Daniel Davidson. Because I want to finish this piece up, and I want to finish talking what I was talking about last hour. Kamala Harris is priming Democrats for violence if Trump wins. Let's mix in with this. Can you play the Trump, since we just played it, can you play his top 5 jokes from the Al Smith dinner last night? Now, again, President Trump is out there courting Catholics. I read to you yesterday that he signed a wonderful little commemorative statement about the holy martyr, Father Jerzy Popieluszko, the Polish martyr who was killed during the Solidarity riots in the 1980s as a practicing, very traditional Catholic priest. This adds to Trump's publishing of the St. Michael prayers, wishing Our Lady happy birthday on the Feast of the Immaculate Conception here. He goes to the Al Smith dinner. You heard him when he was first asked a question by the Fox and Friends crew, or the morning crew on Fox News. He goes, well, this is a big event for Catholics. We do Catholic charities. And as I was telling Maggie, because she didn't know a lot about it, Joe Doyle was on the show, and Joe Doyle explained the whole thing. The Al Smith dinner used to be the biggest fundraiser for orphanages, basically early pro-life centers in New York City, back before it was legal to murder babies. So it is, by definition, it's basically a pro-life dinner. And I know that many people have told the Archdiocese of New York, how dare you invite, because they invited Obama, and Obama came. They invited Hillary in 2016, and Hillary went. But it still is a big fundraiser. Trump was funny last night. I thought his jokes were hysterical. I thought Jim Gaffigan was funny. You know who wasn't funny? Stalina. So Trump was there to roast Democrats, which he did. There we go.
I used to think the Democrats were crazy for saying that men have periods, but then I met Tim Walz. Well, I'd better wrap up because Mayor Adams told me earlier that I needed to make this one very quick, especially the city has reserved this room for a large group of illegal aliens coming in from Texas. There's a group called White Dudes for Harris. Have you seen this? White Dudes for Harris. Anybody know? Are some of you here? White Dudes for Harris? Doesn't sound like it. But I'm not worried about them at all because their wives and their wives' lovers are all voting for me. A major issue in this race is child care, and Kamala has put forward a concept of a plan. A lot of people don't like it. The only piece of advice I would have for her in the event that she wins would be not to let her husband, Doug, anywhere near the nannies. Just keep them away. That's a nasty one. Chuck Schumer is here looking very glum. Doesn't he look glum?
He pats Chuck on the back.
But look on the bright side, Chuck, considering how woke your party has become. If Kamala loses, you still have a chance to become the first woman president.
By the way, this don't let Doug Emhoff anywhere near the nannies. Oh, that's a nasty one. Recall that before Trump was hated by the world and certainly by the entertainment media industrial complex and by the Democrat industrial complex. Recall that even in 2015 and 2016 when he was running for president, he would say, for the first time, I donated to all of them. I got donated to all. Democrats, Republicans, donated to all. Remember, he donated to Fat Jerry Nadler's campaign. He also donated to Schumer's campaign. He knows these guys. They're New Yorkers. So, Schumer is sitting there and in a manner in which I've never seen Schumer. Sitting there, is kind of listening to Trump, smile on his face. And then when Trump cracks the joke about him, Trump reaches down with his left hand and pats Schumer on the back and kind of rubs it like in a circle, like, you're a good guy, Chuck, I've known you forever. He didn't say that, but that's what the pat on the back was. Of course, we disagree with that. But then when Trump said Schumer's looking glum, Schumer pumped his fist like, no, I'm good. Do you think that there would have been any of that kind of camaraderie there had Kamala, comrade Kamala, shown up? Now, just for comparison's sake, play Harris. Again, the single cat lady dummies running her campaign must have told her, what she did with Molly Shannon, must have told her, maybe we'll play it later. You have to hear this to believe it. Must have told her that it's a roast of Catholics, which was entirely inappropriate. Nobody laughed. They played it in the nobody laughed. There's many of the people in the room were actually booing. And this woman is supposedly 5-point bump from the Brett Baer interview, now tied. This is contra Elon Musk. Wait do you hear Musk's campaign stuff from yesterday? He's actually a funny guy. All right, I want to try to finish up with John Daniel Davidson in his piece at The Federalist. Kamala Harris is priming Democrats for violence if Trump wins. We left off here. The purpose of what she's doing is to scare voters into casting their ballot against the former president, or to provoke some unstable would-be assassin into taking a shot at Trump. Its main purpose is to prime Democrat voters for violent resistance should Trump win in November. Consider the lopsidedness of the rhetoric between the Trump and Harris campaigns. Trump often makes sweeping and mostly true statements about the deep state, about the border and illegal immigration, about crime, about how Harris and the Democrats are destroying the country. But when he uses the phrase destroying the country, he's talking about things like crime, homelessness, drug addiction, rampant inflation and the cost of groceries. These things, he says, are the result of policies the Democrats have put in place. If you're looking for someone to blame, he says, blame Biden and blame Harris, because all these problems are their fault. But that's not what Harris and the Democrats are doing with their rhetoric. They're not making a case that crime and inflation will be worse under Trump because of his policies. Democrats aren't interested in policy anymore. What they're doing is pushing the narrative that Trump is going to be a fascist dictator if he wins office. Remember the Joy Reid clip we played, the Joyless Reid clip we played. And he'll use the power of the dependency to go after ordinary Americans. That's an extreme and frankly unhinged position with no basis in reality. You don't say things like that unless you're hoping to provoke a strong reaction. And the reaction Democrats are hoping to provoke is violent resistance to a second Trump term. After all, if you really thought that Trump would order the military and the Justice Department to round up you and your family, wouldn't you do anything to stop him? Wouldn't you take to the streets to save your country and thwart the rise of a fascist dictatorship? At least 2 would-be assassins have taken the Democrats and Trump rhetoric and anti-Trump rhetoric seriously. Seriously. Harris is hoping that many more people will do so between now and Election Day and respond by rejecting a second Trump term in the streets if they must. Now, I want to stop right here. There's a little bit left to go here, but I'll pause here because there's a point to be made here. And darn it, we're going to make it right now here on the Mike Church Show. Let me read this to you again, and then I'll make the point. After all, if you really thought that Trump would order the military and the Justice Department to round up you and your family, wouldn't you do anything to stop him? Wouldn't you take to the streets to save your country and thwart the rise of a fascist dictatorship? Let's stop right there. Let's just pretend for a moment that he is actually saying those things, and that he plans to use the government, he plans to use the Justice Department, and he plans to round people up, and he plans to have the camps, and he plans to put them all in them. I'm out. The implication that good people like us, would stay and help him do it is a lie. It is a violent, extremely dangerous lie. It's not true. I wouldn't do it. She wouldn't do it. You people listening out there wouldn't do it. Outside of them starting a war, obviously, or starting the shooting war we were talking about last year, we wouldn't do it. We'd be going, why would we? We don't support that.